Welcome to Lovely Antique Ladies. Here, I share old-time recipes, cooking tips, advice, and beautiful poetry from ladies from the early 1900s. Whether you love cooking or enjoy classic wisdom, join me for a charming journey back in time. Subscribe now and let's explore the past together. This video contains the basic lesson on preparing apples and 5 recipes at the end to offer variety. The accompanying instructions on the science of cooking apples, with a collection of tested recipes, are presented by Mrs. Belle De Graf, whose lessons were in demand among housewives around the 1920s. Her courses enabled hundreds of women, along with many Naval Reserve sailors, to qualify as expert cooks, and large classes of railway dining car chefs have availed themselves of her lectures and demonstrations. Mrs. De Graf conducted this regularly for the Chronicle, through the courtesy of the Sperry Flour Company between 1919 and 1923. For usefulness, apples seem to hold first place among fruits, since they can be depended upon at almost any time of the year, and are usually less expensive than other fruits. There seems to be no other fruit more popular, nor one which lends itself to so many methods of preparation. There is an old adage, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. If this is true, then at any price apples would prove a real economy. However, unless perfectly ripe, they do not always agree with everyone when eaten raw, but cooked in some form can, with few exceptions, be eaten by every member of the family. Apples, as well as other fruits, are valuable in the diet mainly on account of the sugar, salt, and acids they contain, which improves the quality of the blood. Plain or combined with other ingredients, they afford an almost unlimited variety of desserts, from plain sauce and baked apples to the ever-popular apple pie. Yet all of these dishes, too often, do not come up to expectations, due sometimes to carelessness, but more often through not knowing just the few things essential to success. To begin with, a fairly good quality of apple is needed for the best results, a rather sour one preferred. Greenings will always prove satisfactory. Applesauce should be cooked quickly, that is the secret of success. For a plain sauce, peel, core, and quarter 6 apples. Put into a kettle, never one of tin, with about 1/2 cup of boiling water. Cover and cook rapidly until the apples are tender. Add a few grains of salt, sweeten to taste, usually about 1 cup of sugar, and cook just long enough to dissolve the sugar. Beat well and set aside to cool. If the apples are fine flavored, no seasoning is necessary, but if somewhat tasteless, add a small stick of cinnamon, a clove or 2, or a slice of lemon, and cook with the fruit, removing before sugar is added. A slice of butter also gives a pleasant flavor. Apples turn dark too quickly after peeling, so cook them at once if you wish a clear sauce. Another method of preparation which has the advantage of being very easily and quickly made: wash apples, quarter, but do not peel or core. To 6 apples add 1/2 cup of boiling water and cook rapidly until tender. Press through a puree strainer or colander, add sugar to taste, and stir over the heat until sugar is dissolved. If properly cooked, there is no more appetizing dish than a baked apple. Either granulated or brown sugar may be used, each giving a different flavor. For variety, the fruit can be stuffed before baking with raisins and walnuts, prunes, or an uncooked custard. After baking, the cores may be filled with jelly or orange marmalade. These are just a few suggestions for variety. For baking, wash and core 6 apples, taking care to remove all of the core and seeds. You can purchase an appliance which does this work quickly and well. After apples are cored, remove a portion of the skin, about 1/2 inch wide from the center of the apple. Place in a pan with a cover or in a casserole, and pour over the fruit a syrup made of 1 cup of boiling water and 1 cup of sugar boiled for about 5 minutes. Cover tightly and bake in a moderate oven until the apples are soft but not broken. 25 minutes is about the time required for baking medium-sized apples. Remove cover, sprinkle apples generously with sugar, and place on the top grate of the oven to glaze. Baste with syrup several times and watch closely to prevent burning. When cooked, lift each apple carefully to a serving dish and pour the syrup around them. Chill before serving. If 1 or 2 apples are peeled, cored, sliced, and placed around the apples while they are baking, and then the syrup is strained through a fine sieve over the apples, a rich jelly should form which is even better than the apples. If desired, season with nutmeg, cloves, or cinnamon. The apples can be served plain or with cream. Filled in the manner suggested, a meringue can be made of the white of 1 egg beaten very stiff, adding 2 tablespoons of sugar, beating again with a few drops of vanilla added. Place a spoonful on each apple, return to a moderate oven, and bake about 10 minutes to a golden brown. Recipes: apple gingerbread, 2 cups of flour, 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, 2 teaspoons ground ginger, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, 1 teaspoon baking powder, a 1/3 cup melted shortening, 1 cup sugar, white or brown, 1/2 cup molasses, 1/2 cup milk, sweet or sour, 1 egg, 3 apples. Pare, core, and slice apples very thin. Grease muffin pans and fill about 1/4 full of sliced apples. Sift the first 6 ingredients. Beat egg until light. Add sugar and continue to beat until creamy. Add milk and flour alternately, then molasses and melted shortening. Pour over the apples and bake in a moderate oven between 20 and 25 minutes. Turn out and serve with a spoonful of whipped cream or plain vanilla pudding sauce. If only half this quantity is desired, use half of all ingredients, except egg. Vanilla sauce, 1/2 cup sugar, 2 tablespoons flour, pinch of salt, 1 cup boiling water, 1 tablespoon butter, 1 teaspoon vanilla. Mix sugar, salt, and flour. Add boiling water gradually. Place over heat and boil until thick or until flour is well cooked. Remove from the stove. Add butter and vanilla. This sauce can be kept warm over hot water. Brown Betty, 2 cups breadcrumbs, 3 apples, pared and sliced, 2 tablespoons butter, 1/2 cup seedless raisins, 1/2 cup brown sugar, 1/2 cup hot water, 1/2 teaspoon cinnamon. Put a layer of crumbs in a pudding dish, add a layer of apples, sprinkle with sugar, spices and raisins and dot with butter. Repeat until the dish is full, add water, cover top with crumbs and butter. Place the dish in a pan of hot water and bake for about 45 minutes, or until the apples are soft. Serve with cream or a nutmeg sauce. Apple fritters, 1 egg, 1/4 cup milk, 1 tablespoon sugar, 1/2 cup flour, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon oil or melted butter, apples. Sift flour, sugar and salt. Beat egg well, add milk and shortening. Add sifted dry ingredients, gradually beating until smooth. Peel and core apples, cut across in thin slices. Dip in fritter batter and fry in deep fat until the apples are soft. Have fat heated and before frying fritters, drop a cube of bread into the fat and count to 60. If the bread is a golden brown by then, the fat is the right temperature to use for frying the raw fruit. Always test fat after removing one lot of fritters and before adding others, because the cold food cools the fat and it is usually necessary to reheat it. Serve as a garnish to a meat course or as a dessert with an orange sauce. Orange sauce, 1/4 cup butter, 1/2 cup powdered sugar, 1/2 orange and grated rind. Cream butter well, add sugar gradually and beat until creamy, then add grated rind and juice gradually, beating well. Apple snow, 2 cups of applesauce, 1 lemon, 2 tablespoons granulated gelatin dissolved in 1/3 cup cold water, whites of 2 eggs. Press applesauce through a sieve. Heat to the boiling point, then add dissolved gelatin and stir until well mixed and gelatin is melted. Chill, and when mixture begins to thicken, add the stiffly beaten white of eggs and beat until somewhat stiff. Turn into a mold and when firm, unmold and serve with a custard sauce made with the yolks of the eggs. Custard sauce, 1 cup milk, 1/3 cup sugar, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 2 egg yolks. Scald milk in a double boiler. Beat yolks well, add sugar. When well mixed, pour hot milk on egg and sugar mixture. Return to boiler and stir until mixture is creamy or until it coats the spoon. If overcooked, the custard will curdle. Cool and flavor. Apple pie, 1½ cups flour, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/2 cup shortening, 1/3 cup cold water, approximately. Sift flour and salt together, chop or work shortening into the flour, add liquid gradually using a knife for mixing. This dough should be so stiff as not to stick to the sides of the mixing bowl. Place dough on a mixing board and roll to 1/4 inch thickness. Then fold 1/3 of this pastry over to the center, fold the remaining third over the first fold and fold across, pressing dough down tightly to enclose the air. Roll out again, then pastry is ready for use, but will be improved if allowed to stand, well covered, in a cool place for several hours. By folding the dough in this manner, layers of air are enclosed, which when pastry is placed in a hot oven, expand, making the crust flaky. Line pie plate with paste. Pare, core, and slice 4 or 5 apples to fill the pie plate. Add 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg to 1/2 cup of sugar and sprinkle over the apples. Have the upper crust about 1 inch larger than the plate and fold it under the lower crust. This will keep the juice from cooking out. Put in a hot oven, reducing heat after the first 10 minutes. I hope you found these instructions and recipes helpful. If you are interested in more content like this, please take a moment to like and subscribe.